Hello, namaste, annyeonghaseyo, hola, привет. This portrait of Jung So-Min from Alchemy of Soul was requested by Khushi. So for this sketch, gather a ruler, brush, divider, a sketching pencil and eraser. I have chosen this sketch of Jung So-Min from Alchemy of Souls. I have divided the sketch into lines to ensure accurate proportions. Begin by measuring the length of the middle line and drawing it on paper. Next, proceed to take measurements from the lower section just as demonstrated. I am using a divider to measure the distances, but if you prefer, you can also measure using a ruler. Continue sketching the remaining lines as you did before. This is how you have to draw the lines according to the reference image. Next, draw the lines for the mouth and eyes. If you have got a moment, swing by my community post. I will be sharing an image with the proportions, and it would be awesome if you could grab a screenshot and give the drawing outline a shot. Just a friendly tip, if you are using your phone or PC as a reference, stick with the same measurements as the device screen. It works for both. To make sure everything's spot on, try measuring the outer lines of the face. This will give you a perfect outline for any portrait. And remember, try not to apply too much pressure when drawing the lines, otherwise you might end up with visible marks. I use darker lines to demonstrate the process, but typically that level of darkness isn't necessary. Oh no, I goofed up here. Instead of the upper part, I accidentally drew the lines for the mouth right after the chin line. My bad. That's why be careful while drawing the lines. This step takes time, but overall sketching is quick. This technique offers accuracy for realistic portraits, but isn't needed for imaginary ones, which I usually do freehand. When you create the initial rough sketch, You might notice that it doesn't exactly match the reference image, but don't worry about it, that's totally normal at first. After the rough sketch, you will need to erase those lines and then carefully analyze where the mismatch with the reference image is occurring. With attentive observation, you will identify your mistakes, and through 2-3 rounds of revision, you will eventually achieve a flawless outline. Here's the final outline image. So here's the scoop on what happened. While I was getting into the shading group, I was sure my phone was in landscape mode. Turns out, oops, it was actually in portrait mode. Bummer, right? That's why the full process didn't get recorded. I'm really bummed about it and feeling super sorry. My plan was to give you a great view of the shading part, but it seems like my efforts went down the drain. I was so wrapped up in drawing that I totally spaced on checking my phone's orientation. My bad. Shading isn't tricky at all. All you need to do is change the image to black and white. Then start by shading the whole face with an H pencil and give it a good blend using a paper stump. Afterward, look for the darker spots and set them using a 2B pencil. Don't forget to blend it all with a paper stump for a smooth finish. And for more darker areas, use a 6B or 8B pencil. Here's a helpful tip for you. When you are into pencil sketching, opt for quality textured paper. It's perfect for intense shading. Personally, I use a sketch pad that's usually meant for pen sketches. When I do pencil sketches and put a lot of pressure or add multiple layers for the darker areas, the paper tends to tear. So it's really important to go for high quality paper. Oh, and don't forget about creating hair stands by sketching lines. It adds a great texture effect to the hair shading. That's how I go about my drawings. Well, that's all for today's tutorial, and I apologize for any issues with the video quality. Thanks a lot for checking it out.